All right, this lesson is about some of our level 1 conjunctions. These are things that we teach in our beginning level or our basic level, and we also review it in our intermediate level. And when students get to intermediate and advanced levels, we still often see problems with this. So this is a quick review video about things that are called conjunctions. Conjunctions are things like and, but, or the word or. So first, at the top of your page, I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write your name. You can write it in this top corner or in this top corner. I don't really care. If you have a nickname, you need to write your name in your language. So your Arabic name or your Chinese name or your Thai name or whatever it is that your first language is, you need to write that name. The name that is actually associated with your immigration documents that we have in our computer system. And you also need to write your nickname if there's a nickname that you want me to call you, because I need to be able to know your nickname, and I also need to find you in our grading center. So I like to write my name over here. I'm going to write my name over here. Lonnie. All right. You should also always put the date on your paper. So for example, today is 5/11/17. That's May 11th, 2017. And I want you to number 1, skip a line, 2, skip a line, 3, skip a line. I want you to pause the video while you work on this. Pause the video, but after you pause, before you resume the video, I want you to write one sentence with the word and, sentence number 2 with the word but, and use the word or for number 3. So please pause the video now and write your sentences. You can push play when you have finished. Okay, I hope you have finished your sentences. Now we're going to move on to talking about coordinating conjunctions. This packet is available on our Learning Management System, Canvas. This is not my packet. I did not create this. It is from K-12 Reader, available at http://www.k12reader.com. So this is not mine. I did not create this, but it is a good packet. I like it. I'm not claiming that I made it, but I'm using it for our instruction. So when we talk about conjunctions, first we need to know what a sentence is. If we look at these sentences, we can see that there are a number of sentences here, and there are 2 small, simple sentences. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to give in. Number 2 says, she had a lot of friends. She was a friendly girl. Number 3, I had a cute puppy. I lost him. All right, so we can see all of these examples. This is on page 2 of your packet. And we can see that each of these are simple sentences. We know that they are simple sentences because they have a subject and a verb, or a verb phrase, don't want. So I is the subject, don't want is the verb and the action. And then here we have a new subject and a new verb. So subject-verb is the basic part of an English sentence. You always must have a subject. You always must have a verb for an independent clause or a complete sentence. Now, when we have subject-verb, for example, she had, plus the rest of the information, a lot of friends. Then we have a new subject-verb. This is a new sentence. That's why there's a period there. When we have a new subject-verb, it's a new sentence unless we have some other kind of grammar to make it into one sentence, to combine these sentences. One piece of grammar that you can use to combine sentences is called coordinating conjunctions. And many people remember it by FAN, B-O-Y-S, fanboys, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S, fanboys. It's written right here so you can see that, fanboys. That's how many people remember it. But probably the most common that you already know are and, but, or, and so. And I think probably so but, and are the most common that I see in my English students' writing. And shows us addition, but shows us opposite, or shows us two options, this or that, and so shows us the result. If we read number 1, I don't want to argue with you, I don't want to give in. We can see that these are two opposite ideas. I don't want to argue, I don't want to give in. So I'm going to choose the word but to show opposite, and I'm going to combine these. The important thing to remember when you use a conjunction, and, but, or, so, or any of these conjunctions, the important thing to remember is the punctuation, the style of punctuation. In the first example, we can see we have my brother, that's your subject. Verb is like, my brother likes the mountains, comma, space, but I like the beach. So the important thing here is that the word and, but, or, and so cannot start a sentence. And does not start a sentence. But does not start a sentence. They actually connect two sentences, and so we use a comma before it, a comma and a space. The times that you need a comma before these conjunctions, and, but, or, and so, is when if you have another subject verb after this word, it should be a comma. It cannot start a sentence, and you need a comma if you have a new independent clause, a new subject and verb. So if I write this out, it says, I don't want to argue with you. And then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put a space, and I decided to choose the word but because it shows contrast or opposite, but I don't want to give in either, period. So the important thing here is this is not a new sentence. It's a comma with a space, and then we have our conjunction word, our word that joins it, but, and then we have a new subject and verb. Let's see. Let's take a look at number 4. He studied for the test. That's one sentence. He got a good grade. That's another sentence. Well, what kind of situation do we have here? Do we have adding more similar information? Do we have adding opposite information? Are we giving two options, two choices? Or are we showing the result? For this one, he studied for the test. I think get a good grade is the result after study for the test. So I'm going to choose the word so. He studied for the test. He studied for the test. And then if I want to add this word to connect these sentences, I'm going to put a comma because I have a new subject and verb that I want to put a new sentence after. I'm going to put a space and I'm going to put the word so. And then I'm going to add this next sentence, and I'm going to remember that I don't put a capital letter because it's not a new sentence. He got a good grade with a period at the end. He studied for the test, comma, so he got a good grade. All right. As mentioned before, this is on page 2 of the packet that's available on Canvas. This is from www.k12reader.com. You can complete this page if you want practice with this. If you know that you have a habit, a bad habit of beginning a sentence with and but, please complete this page to help give you practice. On the next page, this is our comma practice page. I would like you to complete this page for practice. So let's do number 1 together as an example. It says, add commas where necessary in the following sentences based on the rule above. The rule is the same thing that I have already explained. Commas are used with these conjunctions, fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so, these words that we saw. You use a comma to combine two independent clauses. If you have another subject and verb after your conjunction word, you must have a comma before, and it should actually be no space. So we're just gonna, it should be connected to the word with a space after. I'm just gonna make a note there. All right, so let's take a look. Number 1, I am a wife and I am a mother. Well, here's our connector word, and. Do I have a subject and verb after this, or is it just one thing, like a noun or a verb? It looks to me like we have a subject, I, and a verb, am. So I need to add a comma to show that these are two different sentences that are being joined. I am a wife, comma, and there's a space after this. I know it's hard to see. I'm writing my comma a little bit big so we can see the comma. There should be a space after the comma, so it should be close to the word wife. And I am a mother. So I want you to complete the rest of these. Find these fanboys words, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. I want you to find those keywords in here. And I want you to add the commas. On the next page. This page will help you practice choosing the correct word. If you don't know the meaning of these words, we can talk about it, but the important ones are and, but, or, and so. Those are the most common. Yet is something that we will talk a little bit more about a little bit later. You might have touched on it in level 2. And then the next page is a little bit more challenging. You have to choose the correct word, and you have to remember to put a comma if we need the comma. So if you have a subject and verb, you need the comma. All right. And then the last page says, use a comma before a coordinating conjunction that joins two independent clauses. Do not use a comma before a conjunction that does not join two independent clauses. So this one gives us an example of times when we do not use a comma. We can say at the wrong gate, but at the wrong gate. This is not a subject-verb situation, so we do not use a comma. Spaghetti is just a noun. It's not a subject and verb, so we don't need a comma because we're not joining two sentences. We're just showing pizza and spaghetti. This one, I arrived on time, but at the wrong gate. So we're just combining these two different, they're called prepositional phrases. Rewrite each sentence using the correct punctuation. This one is a really good practice. I highly recommend that you complete it. If you have any questions, please let me know. And in class tomorrow, I want you to bring the paper that you wrote with your 3 sentences, the 3 sentences that you wrote at the beginning. I want you to go back and look at those and decide if you have the correct punctuation or not. If your punctuation is not correct, please use a different color to make it correct and show me that you are able to see this information and that you recognize if you had mistakes, because that's showing me that you had learning. I want you to bring this page to class tomorrow. This is part of your home practice, and I want you to turn in this page for me tomorrow. So make sure your name is on it. Make sure you have your 3 sentences, and make sure that you correct the sentences with a different color if you have problems with